Alrighty, got a Goodman gas package unit, and we are here with people that own this house, have a home warranty on it, and evidently they're giving it a runaround about the house and the problem. The company, which is very typical of a lot of the lower end, especially service companies that do home warranty work, they'll come out and try to get your claim denied for lack of maintenance, or either they'll try to tell you it's going to get denied if you don't have them do a maintenance on it, and they want to charge you $120, $30 to process everything so you can get covered and get it fixed under your home warranty to collect money for a maintenance, or either tell the home warranty company that it's a problem, blame the problem on lack of maintenance, so that the home warranty company will deny the claim, and then they get to charge the homeowner COD rates. The home warranty companies don't pay as much for the work as what you would normally charge on a COD situation. So it's a no heat call, and like I said, these people came out here and said that the unit wasn't working. The problem they had was because they didn't have any maintenance on it. So let's take a look and see what's going on. We've got it in a call from the thermostat, and we've got a one flash down there on our board, and I can't remember where the fault code list is on this unit. Is there a list in here that covers my fault codes? Maybe it's on this piece of paper right here, I don't know. Let's see what we got. One blink is going to be ignition failure, or open rollout switch, or open auxiliary limit switch. Check your gas flow, check your gas pressures, gas valve, flame sensor, flame rollout, bad switch, auxiliary limit open. So let's figure out which one of these is the problem. And I mean, this thing doesn't look to be in horrible condition as far as lack of maintenance. I mean, let me get some light, brighten things up just a hair. What I'm looking at, this unit, I mean, there's some rust down in there, you know, but it's not. I mean, this is a Goodman furnace, or a package unit. I mean, it's not. I've seen them a whole lot dirtier than this, running perfectly fine. So trying to get these people's repair denied for lack of maintenance at this point isn't looking legitimate. So they're just probably trying to upsell them, do a COD repair out of it, instead of billing it to a warranty company where you don't get paid that much, or either that, or they can't figure out what's wrong with it and they're blaming it on the thing being dirty. Anyway, warranty company at this point is taking their word for it. The homeowner actually has documentation where this system has been serviced twice in the last 2 years. So they have had some maintenance done on it. But alright, so let's grab the meter, and I guess that's the first thing to start. Alright, so let's go across and check these limits. Check our the primary limit on this one is going to be over on the other side in the blower compartment, and we'll check that if I don't find anything over here. So we'll start with the rollout switch. Yep. So our rollout switch is open. So let's see what happens when I reset this thing. Fault is still, you can see it is still flashing back there. Let's check our Could be a bad limit. That wouldn't be an issue for maintenance, I can tell you that. Okay, so let's reset the power on it and see what happens. And waiting for that. There we go. So these Goodman units. Actually, let me go ahead and make sure that's clear. Let me make sure. I mean, this would result in a pressure switch fault, but while I'm here, go ahead and clean out my hose port real quick, make sure. Make sure that's good. And nothing's loose. Tighten that up. Alright, let's put it back in. Actually, let me get my manometer and go ahead and hook up to this thing so I can be checking gas pressure when it fires off. So actually, before I do all that, I'm gonna go ahead, before I get this thing hot, get this out and check this heat exchanger. These Goodman's, the easiest way I find is to, the package unit, is just pull this housing out, and it's just a couple of screws that hold it in, and slide it out. Well, about 3, but let me turn my light on. There's my screw right there, and check the heat exchanger. Evidently this has been an ongoing problem. Rollout switch seems to be the tipping point, but getting it, well, the warranty company sending out companies and they're not able to figure out why the rollout switch is tripping. That screw back there is always the little bitty. So I got my extension on here. There we go. Got it. Alright, helps me reach back in there if I need to. So let's get this thing out. Heat exchanger, and to me, looks like it's already been replaced before, especially shiny as it is. And this heat exchanger has been replaced, so I'm not seeing an issue with that. So the heat exchanger has been replaced in it. So I don't think that's going to be the problem. Get this thing back in there, right? And then this one. And we'll go ahead and check the capacitor while we got all this opened up. Let me grab my meter. So it's a 15. And we're reading 12 out of 15. So that's weak for that. It's definitely more than 10%. But we'll bring that to their attention. Their warranty company should be handling their repairs if they're checking things properly. But that's another thing with a warranty company. They ain't gonna mess with that if it's working. You're not gonna be able to replace it. I mean, you can go out and tell the warranty company it was bad, but you better hope that's what was causing the problem, or you're gonna be back on a recall. But most of the time, warranty companies are not fixing anything if it's not actually broken and causing the problem. You can recommend all you want, but if it's not causing the problem, they're not messing with it. But they only know what you tell them. And that's where you'll get a lot of companies that work for these home warranty companies. They'll go out and just build up a whole bunch of repairs and try to get as much money built on it as they can. And the warranty company don't know it. Sometimes if you get a reputation, they'll send another company behind you for a second opinion. But let's go around to the other side. So before I do anything else, let's pull the burners out. I mean, we'll check the gas pressure on it. So far, everybody else has said the gas pressure was fine, but then again, I wouldn't be here if they were on the money, I guess. So we'll run that and check it, but I'm looking for rollout issues that will trip a rollout switch. And so let's just get these burners out. I hate these little swing burner designs. I mean, somebody actually did label them to put them back in the right order, but the way they come off and unhook on this thing, they're a pain in the ass. So let's get these out. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they said somebody cleaned this thing about a month or so ago on the heating. They did a heating service on it, and they did a cooling last year. So there's been maintenance done on it, but I mean, those aren't bad. They're not going to cause a rollout problem. So when I look back through these with my flashlight, I take that and stick it up under the bottom, and then look back up in here, and I'm getting light all the way around these little holes when you look in there. And so I don't have any burners that are plugged up. But what drew my attention, if anybody knows anything about changing heat exchangers, which this one's been replaced in these Goodman package units, is anytime you replace a heat exchanger, what you need to do is make sure the new heat exchanger comes with everything. Sometimes it doesn't, and you have to reuse things off the old heat exchanger. And if anybody has replaced any of these Goodman package unit heat exchangers, and I have, and I've seen this problem, which is exactly what brought it to my attention when I pulled that blower out, is right back here. There is a restrictor plate that is supposed to sit back here and mount to the front of this heat exchanger over the top of each one of these openings. If you see that little screw hole right there, another one up there, the restrictor plate pulls that flame in, number one, so it's not all barreled out around in here. When that draft motor comes on, it sucks that gas into that restrictor plate, gets you a real fine flame. But when the blower comes on, it blows against the back of those screw holes, and it also blows heat back out through there. And every time that we have put one of these heat exchangers in and forgotten to take that off and put it on, which has happened 2 or 3 times, we were right back out there not too long after with rollout problems. So, and we get that thing and put it in and not have another problem. And I'm thinking that's what our issue is going to be. I'm going to fire this up. But there's supposed to be a restrictor plate cover that mounts to the front of this heat exchanger before you put this burner assembly back on. And then you see how large those openings are. It brings them down a little smaller, and then it pulls that gas in there in a real tight funnel. And then if that thing's not in there, the flame's burning in a larger opening, everything in here starts to get hot. You see how close that thing is to right in between those 2 burners right there. And it starts getting hot in there. Then that blower comes on, and it's blowing the air through those holes, blowing heat out here. And it's just a combination of a situation that everything in here gets hot, and eventually on a long run time, that rollout switch is going to trip. Alright guys, so this is kind of just drawing something out so you can have an idea what I'm talking about. It's a little plate, fits to the front of that heat exchanger, screw in there, screw there, and it basically is called an inducer motor draft reducer plate or something through Johnson's, what they call it. It just takes that flame and it tightens it up real nice and fine, and it doesn't get real hot in there. So that's what you have to have. If you ever run across that on one of these package units and you got nuisance rollout trips, get this plate for this particular unit. This is the part number for that. If you got 4 or 5, obviously it'll be a different part number. And I believe that's going to be what our problem is. But we're going to fire it up real quick. Alright guys, I'm going to check the gas pressure real quick, get that ruled out. If I can hit my head on the corner of that damn thing. So I had to go put some antibiotic ointment on it and clean it. But son of a bitch, man. Hey, you gotta watch out. Stuff like that. You leave one of those open, you stand up, crack your head on the corner of that. You've all done it. Don't lie to me. But, damn. Anyway. Let's get this thing in here. Good on that. Draft motor's running fine, which I'll check across that in a minute. We'll see what our draft pressure is. So I've unhooked from the gas valve. Now I'm going to check. This pressure switch is a 0.33 inches of water column. So as you can see, I'm hooked in with a T right here to my manometer, looping back to this motor. So I'm going to measure the vacuum on this switch while it's running. And we'll make sure that's all in good order. Yep, 1.5 is definitely enough to close that switch. So we don't have a problem with our draft motor, or our flue, or a cracked heat exchanger, or a blower motor. Oh, turn the gas back on. There we go. Our problem is they forgot to put that restrictor plate. That restrictor plate is missing back there. That's why they're having the rollout problems. So whoever put this heat exchanger in didn't take the restrictor plate off the old one. The new one, I've replaced probably 10 of these heat exchangers. The new one doesn't come with it. You have to take the old one off and put it on here, and it will cause, every single time that has been left off, we've had rollout switch faults on colder nights, long run times. So anybody knows about Goodman package units changing those heat exchangers, you know what I'm talking about. So I can't wait to see the comments. So everybody else is going to suggest 50,000 other things. I know what the problem is. The restrictor plate's missing. So I'm going to call, see if I can get one, let this homeowner know, and let them contact their warranty company, and let whoever the company was they were sending out here know that it is not a maintenance related problem. I'm guessing they couldn't figure it out because they don't have experience on this equipment. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, super thanks, appreciate it. And you guys have a